Hey there, Germ readers, and welcome to our first check-in for Renée Ahdieh's The Wrath and the Dawn.
First step begins with you. Try something different, something new. You decide in spite of fear. You start now, you start here.
Today we're going to be talking about pages 1 through 127, so let's start with general thoughts and predictions. One thing I really love about the writing in this book is the relationships and the friendships. What first comes to mind is the relationship between Tariq and Rahim. It's really authentic feeling. The dialogue is really conversational, and it feels like a real friendship, which I think is really great. Even the relationship between Shahrzad and Despina feels really real in that they don't quite know each other, but the way that they talk to each other feels like what that relationship would feel like. Right now, the characters that I'm really enjoying are both Despina and Rahim. I like seeing Rahim's humor, which is something that we've been getting a little more of in the later part of the section. I also like Despina's humor in her sarcasm, and she's pretty witty and straightforward. But she's also a pretty big mystery, you know, in that she comes out and says she's a spy, but what's her end game? Who is she really working for? There's a lot that we don't know about her yet. Another thing I noticed in the writing was the author's use of color. I found it kind of interesting that she's using specific colors. It's not just blue, it's cerulean. You know, it's not black, it's onyx. And I think it gives this really vivid texture to the writing in this story itself. So we know this story is a retelling of 1001 Nights, and personally I have never read that story and I'm not really familiar with it. I'm interested to know if any of you are familiar, to kind of gauge what the differences and similarities are between the two. Please share if you do know. So let's move into our discussion questions. Despina tells Shahrzad the caliph has been more interested in her than his past wives. Why do you think that is? I think first of all, for this question we have to kind of decide whether or not we think Despina is telling the truth. And personally I think she is, because every other wife, as far as we know, as soon as it's been dawn, they've been dead. You know, none of them have lasted as long as Shahrzad, as it seems. And I think the caliph can really tell that Shahrzad has this fight to her. And I think he kind of sees that as a challenge. Even more than that, I think that seeing that fight in her is relatable to him. I think it's the same kind of fight that he has. And so it almost humanizes her in a way that hasn't happened with his other wives. I think seeing so much of her personality has been intriguing, but it also kind of takes away from what his plan has been this whole time. Now for our second question. At the end of this section, Shahrzad notices something is wrong with her tea. With the caliph gone, who do you think might be trying to harm her? It is really hard to tell at this point because we know so little about everyone who's working in the palace to know what their true desires are, who their alliance or who their allegiance is to. My first thought was the general. He has clearly proven that he believes she is a threat to the caliph and that he won't stand for it. So I have to wonder if he decided to take the opportunity to just be rid of her once and for all. However, my mind also goes to Despina. She's the one serving the tea, so she has every opportunity to do something with it. And as I said earlier, she's a mystery. We don't know what her intentions are yet. So it very well could be her, but I don't know yet. I'm really interested to see what you guys think and what your theories are. So that's it for our discussion this week. We'll be back on July 20th to discuss pages 128 to 254. So I will see you all then. Bye.
Reach out and find your voice. Make a change, make a choice.